According to research, most pre-retirees imagine an active retirement lifestyle. 79% of pre-retires envision lots of traveling, and 71% imagine exercising at the top of their list. But the sad truth is, a staggering 83% of current retirees end up watching TV as their top activity, which of course leads to massive retirement rut, lack of motivation and energy, and then procrastination and a sedentary lifestyle kick in. And before you know it, years pass by all along with your good intentions and your plans. This doesn't have to be you, as common as it is. You are not a stereotype, and you don't have to become one in retirement. After helping thousands of older adults and retirees over the past 8 years achieve their best retirement full of passion and purpose, I have found that habits are at the root of it. Changing habits, especially the subtle, impactful ones, are a game changer. In this video, you will learn 5 specific habits that can silently make or break your retirement. I'm going to list them here so you can avoid them. Number 1 is saying or thinking, "I'm too old." We're all guilty of it, and the reason why it does so much damage is because it's probably been running in a loop on repeat for decades. It applies to nearly all adult ages. I've been hearing this from friends and even catching myself saying it since college over 20 years ago. If we're prone to hearing or saying or thinking this statement in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, this means the amount of times that we've thought it is astounding and potentially so stunting because repeating a thought becomes a belief. Research has shown that repeated information is perceived as more truthful than new information. The illusory truth effect, which is also sometimes called the repetition truth effect, has been studied from a few angles, and this is why fake news or repetitive advertisements are so hard to dismiss, even with new good information. So the point is, when it comes to your personal life and your innermost desires, it is so beneficial to protect your thoughts. So be very mindful and especially aware of statements like, "I'm too old," because that will deeply stunt your opportunities in retirement. A great tip is to swap that thought with another more positive and intentional one that you can repeat instead. Something that resonates so you can get on board with it. Consider, "I can try that. Maybe I'm not too old. It's possible at my age." And if you want some proof that you're not too old, you can learn and start new things at any age. Retirement is the beginning of a very big growth journey, unlike what the stereotypes lead us to believe. I'll quickly share just a small sampling of people in our signature Rewire My Retirement program. Steve Gardner climbed Mount Shasta for his 70th birthday after recovering from cancer, a few bad falls, 2 mini strokes, and more ailments. There are a few authors in our group who published new books starting in retirement, like Sue Camayon, who wrote her first memoir, The Practical Seductress, Dan Rutberg, who published Whispers from My Muse after his wife passed, and Linda Hassel, who wrote a children's book, Leroy Likes School, as a family legacy piece. You can start a passion project or a new business or a career in retirement. Yes, you can work and enjoy it in quote retirement. Paid passion projects are a thing, and I see it all the time, like Paulette did with her yoga business. Sally Lamano began a flourishing acting career. Annabelle Marshall started to dig into her passion of drawing and illustrating at age 92. So it is worth stopping this very common habit of saying, or better yet, thinking, "I'm too old," because retirement is the beginning of a big growth journey. Literally in my book, I tout the fact that you are designed to grow, evolve, change, develop at every life stage. And retirement specifically is the beginning of a big growth journey. And what's at the root of your growth? It's going to be very challenging if you don't cut out habit number 2, which is assuming you've learned it all. One big concept here is to not assume that you know it all. More specifically, assuming you know all about yourself. Yes, you probably know yourself more so than ever before, but it doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80, or 90. There's always still more of yourself to know. There's more to learn. You are designed to grow indefinitely, and the fact that your brain is neuroplastic, meaning you can create new neural pathways in your brain until the day you die, means that you are designed for growth and for evolution and lifelong learning. So if you can, be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all. Not only is learning something new good for your cognitive health, it also leads to great relationships. According to research, having new experiences with your partner increases your relationship bonding. To be a learn-it-all, you can dive into Carol Dweck's famous work on adopting a growth mindset, which is about focusing on the process, the actual mid-stage before you get to your outcome, and enjoying that progress in exact mid-stage, accepting feedback and constructive criticism, embracing challenges, not walking away or avoiding stressors, digging into the learning benefits instead, because there are golden lessons in every challenge. And as much as it's a buzzword for a reason. Number 4, practicing mindfulness. I especially love recommending step 4 in growth mindset because it's a tangible habit that you can include into your daily life. And you really experience benefits from it pretty quickly once the consistency is in place. So the key is to pick something that resonates and not something where you feel like you're forcing yourself. Please avoid habit number 3, which is skipping mindfulness, because the benefits of mindfulness are practically endless. It's a form of self-care. It's a grounding practice that brings you back to your authenticity. It heightens your awareness. It improves relationships. It helps you let go of grudges. There are so many profound benefits. This is actually in a whole separate video. The point here is to stop the habit of skipping over some sort of mindfulness practice. It doesn't matter what it is as long as it resonates with you, which again is the only way to get it to stick long-term consistently. Mindfulness can be, yes, meditation, which is super popular and comes in many different formats in and of itself, but also journaling, writing, creating, expressing, walking in nature, walking in the woods, cardio workouts, taking a hot bath, practicing gratitude, spending solo time outdoors, mirror work, breath work, EFT tapping. It doesn't matter which one resonates the most of you, it just needs to resonate with you. The reason why mindfulness is so powerful is because underneath it all, it calms your nervous system, which is really the culprit for a lot of the programming and the conditioning that we're running that don't serve us. So much of your awareness level and life satisfaction can be tied straight to the regulation of your nervous system so that you can reconnect with your true authentic self, your deeper desires, wishes, dreams, and goals. Of course, it's not enough to just say you're going to do it and then add it to your to-do list to make it happen. If you truly want to incorporate consistency into your life for the sake of positive growth and your retirement life satisfaction, the most powerful way to do that is to drop this next very common habit. Number 4, rely on a to-do list. That's not to say drop to-do list altogether. If you have a system for daily tasks, great. But I do hear about to-do lists all the time in private coaching sessions. And rather than relying on them, because they often turn into lists that never expire and they never end, what's missing for most people is putting into your life structure, routines that carry the to-do list. So it's not enough to have an open structure, an open schedule, and then a to-do list. Does this mean planning every minute of your life? No, absolutely not. But it does mean having a general landing pad in your daily structure for specific categories, while leaving breathing room and elasticity in that structure. In other words, successful retirees drop the habit of relying solely on a to-do list, and instead they have a habitual structure that supports their ideal life. This is just a chart from my book, The Rewire Retirement Method. So more specifically, something could look like morning routine with your daily practices like exercise, mindfulness, and then you have mid-morning energizing me time, which could include passion projects, free time, creating, and then after lunch, need to-do lists, appointments, duties, chores. And then you have early evening for social engagements, family time, meetups, or again, free time. As backwards as it sounds, scheduling in free time or spontaneous time works wonders. Contrary to what most people think, when they think of retirement, which is typically, oh, you have all the time in the world. That habit of not mindfully structuring your days and your weeks will leave you out of the driver's seat, and those days just zip by. So either way, it's less about following this structure to a T and more about relying on your intentionally designed structures and routines instead of a to-do list and an open schedule. I also hear about this all the time in private coaching sessions, so I'll mention it here. People are either bored and rudderless with nothing on their calendar, or they're busier than they were during retirement and they're spread thin and ping-ponging around from project to project. In both extremes, they somehow didn't get their to-do list done, and in both cases, the days zip by and there's a missing feeling of accomplishment. So swap your to-do list with an intentional structure and routine and watch your world change. Plus, when it comes to replacing any bad habits with good intentional habits, structure and routine are an effective hack for removing any decision fatigue, which stops a lot of people. For example, exercise. It's a no-brainer for longevity and an active, healthy retirement, right? But if you let yourself have that same decision battle over and over and over in the morning, should I go to the gym now or later when I feel like it, or just go for a walk, or maybe I'll do some strength training tomorrow or sign up for that yoga class. Decision fatigue weighs you down. Structures remove that weight. You literally just follow your intention and show up and that muscle gets stronger and stronger with repetition and consistency. All this to say, this is how you set yourself up for success. And you can have clear discernment between what you want to do versus what you need to do. The shoulds and that heavy decision fatigue and procrastination, it just flies out the window. Clarity is so important that it's the final step today. If anything at all from this video, please avoid habit number 5, winging it. This is the most popular bad retirement habit that unfortunately our society sets up the older generation for. And it's no wonder, because 99% of retirement advice equals financial advice. If you're familiar with my content, you've heard me say it before. There's more to life than money, and there's more to retirement planning than just the financial planning. Please, at minimum, plan for a more multifaceted retirement, like in my 5 rings of retirement framework, where finance is only one of 5 rings of retirement, with the sole purpose of fueling the other colorful, more meaningful, and purposeful areas of life. To help you avoid this bad habit of winging it, my biggest tip for you is to start with gaining clarity. I call this inner action. Most people just skip over this step because it's invisible and they step straight into a retirement rut. This is especially common among high achievers who are used to go, go, go. When you go from bustling career and or family life to a totally open retirement with an open structure and no plan, it can be a shock to the system, like going from 60 to 0. It is very important to have a deep, reliable process that lets you go inward for the answers. Reflection is also something not to be taken lightly. You will never find the answers out here. You are not a stereotype, and frankly, what works for one retiree will not work for you. So please avoid that trap of going outward and comparing yourself to others for clarity. It's gotta be from the inside out. And I do have a very systematic process for that. By the way, this is my exact wheelhouse. So if you want help, please check out my workshop on how to turn a successful career into a successful retirement. I will leave a link to that in the description below this video, just in case you're intrigued. Either way, when you gain this very important clarity, all the typical side effects of a retirement rut start to shed off and fall to the wayside, like procrastination, lack of motivation, lack of self-confidence, unclear next steps or overwhelm, not feeling like yourself or feeling like something's missing or even feeling like a has-been. I do hear about this all the time in private coaching sessions. Clarity is your first way out. It's inner action and it's invisible action. But once you have that, then it's time for outer action and you stop winging it. You set yourself up for the outer action to survive and then thrive better. Of course, the outer action is also a very systematic thing to execute as well, but it's worth noting that without clarity, it's not very useful. And unfortunately, most people just wing it and that won't cut it. So may you avoid all 5 of these very common habits. And remember that habits are just one part of a fully energizing and purposeful retirement. If you want comprehensive help achieving your ideal retirement life, or someone you know needs that help, head over to that free workshop and watch how to turn your successful career into a successful retirement. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cyn Meyer, your passionate retirement life coach, and I will see you in the next video.